Hello, I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley, and I'm here at the Compassionate Friends National Conference with my good friend Barbara Allen. Hi, Barbara.
Glad to see you, Gloria, always.
I know Barbara's an expert on stigmatized loss. She has lost family members to drug and alcohol abuse, right?
Yes, substance use disorder is what we refer to it today, suicide, homicide, and then other stigmatized losses that we really focus on a lot are things that people don't often think about, which is mental health, anorexia, sometimes shaken baby syndrome, and there are times when even when someone dies of drowning, the parents are judged in ways that are inappropriate. I like to look at it from three different perspectives of information. One is there is guilt, there is shame, and there is stigma, which is different. Guilt says, I did something wrong. Shame says, I am wrong, that there's something bad about me. Stigma is something that comes from the outside in, where others judge you. So I like to start helping people understand what the differences are. And one of my favorite resources is a woman named Brene Brown, who has a PhD in shame, of all things. And she has a book that really helps people called Daring Greatly, and helps them understand what's going on. Because the thing about stigma is that sometimes we feel stigmatized. If our son or a daughter or a child or grandchild died, for example, from suicide, sometimes we will not tell other people. We'll come in and we'll talk about how they had their heart stopped. And it could be any number of causations. So stigma, sometimes we bring it in ourselves from our own thinking or lack of knowledge and education. And so if we come into a group with that hesitation, we don't open ourselves to the healing that can be there with acceptance from others.
When you tell people how something really happened, you'll sometimes find they'll say, wow, people in my family have had that happen, or I've had that happen.
That is so true, so true. I find so often, you know, when someone hesitates or they come in and they say, yes, my child died of a heart attack, but somebody else further down the road or around the circle, so to speak, will say, yes, I lost a child to anorexia, or I lost a child to mental health issues, or to suicide, or to a substance use disorder. All of a sudden, they're like, you know, me too. And it breaks the stigma down. They don't feel alone. Sometimes they feel less than. And when they're with someone else who understands, their heart opens.
And so what would your piece of advice be?
There's different layers of it, of course, but in the early days, it's, process your own grief. But when you have space in your heart and your mind opening, get a little more education. One of the things I find most often is that people are not educated about, let's say, mental health or anorexia, and it's a belief that my child, my grandchild, or my sibling should have done this or should have done that. But when they learn about a disease component, it helps them understand it better, and they can soften their own personal internal bias and stigma, and then open their hearts to share it.
Well, thank you so much for being on this YouTube today, and thanks for all you do for the people who have had this stigmatized loss. And thank you for watching this YouTube, and I would like to remind you always, if you've lost hope, please lean on ours till you find your own, and God bless.